It's Tuesday, February 3rd. In the headlines, the public is being urged to take precautions amid effect of a cold front. The parents' overnight suite at the Bustamante Hospital for Children is now open. In business news, government tax collections exceed budget. Regionally, St. Lucia's Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre addresses Cuban medical ties amid U.S. pressure. And in sports, Jamaican footballer Dujan Whisper Richards is on loan from Chelsea to Leicester City. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. The public is being urged to take precautions as the island experiences high winds and cooler temperatures. The word of caution comes from the Ministry of Health and Wellness. Residents are advised to limit outdoor activity where possible, as strong winds may cause flying debris and increase the risk of injury, especially during repairs or cleanup activities. The ministry is also warning that cooler temperatures can negatively affect vulnerable groups, including the elderly and persons with sickle cell disease, particularly during the ongoing influenza season. Members of the public are encouraged to wear appropriate clothing to regulate body temperature and protect against viral illnesses. The flu vaccine remains available free of cost at health centers island-wide. In the event of power outages, the ministry is reminding users of generators to follow safety guidelines, including avoiding indoor or enclosed use, keeping generators at a safe distance from buildings, and refraining from operating appliances with heating elements while on generator power. Users are advised to ensure the correct voltage outlet is selected. Persons who become ill or injured are encouraged to seek care at the nearest health center or consult a private doctor. The government is looking to build a stronger local contractor class as Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness signals new policy support to help Jamaican firms take on large-scale development projects. He addressed the matter while speaking at the official opening of the Parents' Overnight Suite at the Bustamante Hospital for Children. The 36-bed facility was constructed at a cost of over $140 million. Dr. Holness says this is essential to ensuring that projects under the government's capital expenditure program are effectively converted into economic growth.
Oftentimes, the construction is the shortest part of the process. But if you do not have good contractors, that can be elongated as well. And as Jamaica grows and we have more capital projects to do, we are seeing the need to have a contractor class that is equal to the task.
According to the Prime Minister, while many local contractors are equipped to handle developments of about 1,000 units, the government's growth objectives require firms capable of delivering projects involving as many as 10,000 homes. He stressed that developing this capacity locally is critical.
We need contractors who are invested in the process. They have the technical expertise, not just in construction, but they have the technical expertise in project management, in financial management, in accounting and record keeping, that they understand the social, political, and cultural issues in the areas that they work.
The Overnight Suite project was executed through a partnership involving the National Housing Trust and National Health Fund as well as the Southeast Regional Health Authority. For his part, Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton explained the benefits of it.
Family members coming from out of town wanting somewhere to stay, to freshen up, to overnight, 36-bed facility, and it is a very positive addition. So we are working. I close by saying, next stop, A&E downstairs.
In the face of climate change and man-made challenges, safeguarding the island's environment is now a priority more than ever. In celebration of World Wetlands Day, on Monday, members of the National Environment and Planning Agency hosted a cleanup day in Parity, St. Elizabeth, in one of the hardest hit communities in the parish. Denita Rodney was on site, and she tells us more.
Minister of Water, Environment and Climate Change Matthew Samuda says the damaged wetlands offer a snapshot of the wider environmental impact left behind by Hurricane Melissa.
It's a very difficult thing to absorb because the scale of the damage is unprecedented. It's unlike anything that I've certainly ever seen or experienced. And for us, we think it is particularly important. Though World Wetlands Day globally is celebrating heritage, for us, we think it's important that we use the day to recommit not just to the people but to their environment, so that they're clear that we will restore this area. We will restore the areas that are affected, because it's particularly important that we understand the relationship between those who live here and the environment in which they live.
The Environment Minister says the cleanup marks only the first step in the wider effort to restore the wetlands.
Today's effort is really to start the process of removing the debris and bulk waste from the wetlands, which obviously affects hydrological flow, it affects coastal stability. So it's very important that we start the process of removing the waste so that we're able to restore these wetlands over time through varying initiatives, including our Relief initiative, including other replanting initiatives that NEPA will lead on also.
Member of Parliament and Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining Floyd Green applauded the team for coming together in a united effort to restore the wetlands.
Just as we are moving to ensure that we restore shelters, just as we're moving to ensure that we restore businesses, it is critical that we move to ensure that we restore our wetlands. And as such, today marks a significant step forward in that regard. And again, I commend NEPA, I commend Minister Samuda for understanding that this has to be elevated and has to be as important as restoring everything else.
Whitney Smith Curry, Community Relations Officer at SPM and SWMA, one of NEPA's partner agencies, talks about why getting involved in the cleanup was so important.
As St. Elizabeth was devastated by Hurricane Melissa, I think this initiative, partnering with NEPA, would be very important for the recovery process. I'm here with the team and we decided to come on board because Parity is one of the worst in Southwest St. Elizabeth at the moment. And this is not a one-day initiative, this is a long-term initiative, and all agencies should come together and make this recovery process better.
The day also saw community members join the effort, rolling up their sleeves to take part in the cleanup activities. On this World Wetlands Day, the message is clear. Protecting our wetlands isn't just about conservation. It's about rebuilding our communities and resilience for the future. Reporting for the news on PBCJ, I am Denita Rodney.
High blood pressure, hypertension, is a leading, often silent risk factor for heart disease, causing a strain that can lead to heart attack, heart failure, and stroke. February is recognized as Heart Month in Jamaica. Let's hear what the Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Christopher Tufton, has to say about the Jamaican experience with this non-communicable disease.
Hypertension remains a significant health concern, affecting more than 1 in 3 adults globally. In Jamaica, the statistics are no less alarming, with 1 in 3 Jamaicans living with high blood pressure as reported in the 2016-2017 Jamaica Health and Lifestyle Survey. Alarmingly, 4 out of every 10 Jamaicans with hypertension are unaware of their condition, emphasizing the critical need for awareness and proactive health management. High blood pressure stands as a leading contributor to premature death from cardiovascular diseases, with heart disease and stroke topping the list of global causes of mortality. Moreover, hypertension escalates the risk of kidney failure, blindness, and other debilitating conditions, often coexisting with obesity, diabetes, and high cholesterol, compounding health risk. For all these reasons, managing your blood pressure is extremely important. Today, our aim is to increase awareness of the significance of blood pressure monitoring, to underscore the seriousness of hypertension, and to empower individuals to take control of their health. Our Know Your Numbers campaign is a clarion call to action, urging everyone to regularly monitor their blood pressure and be cognizant of their readings to take timely measures. High blood pressure must be taken seriously. It is a strong and reliable warning signal that your health is at risk and that something needs to be done. Symptoms of hypertension often manifest in advanced stages of cardiovascular disease, elevating the risk of sudden acute events such as heart attacks or strokes. However, hypertension is preventable and treatable. The first crucial steps for both prevention and management is knowing your numbers, i.e. your blood pressure levels. In terms of prevention, the advice is simple. Reduce salt intake, maintain physical activity, prioritize fruits and vegetables over highly processed foods, limit sugary beverages, refrain from tobacco use, moderate alcohol consumption, or abstain altogether. For many individuals, adopting these lifestyle modifications is sufficient to manage blood pressure effectively. However, for some, medication becomes necessary. Hypertension medications are safe, affordable, and effective. The National Health Fund offers subsidies for hypertension medications, providing assistance to those in need. In conclusion, prioritize your health, know your blood pressure numbers, adopt a proactive approach to lifestyle changes, and adhere to recommended medication and self-care practices. Your health lies in your hands. By knowing your numbers, you equip yourself to lead a longer, healthier life.
Time now for the Business Report with Denise Williams.
Welcome to today's Business Report. I'm Denise Williams, bringing you the developments shaping markets, capital access, and business decision-making across Jamaica and the region. Let's get into the stories that matter. The government of Jamaica has reported that revenue collections outperformed projections during the period April to December of the current fiscal year. Total revenue and grants amounted to $806.4 billion, which is $8.6 billion above the $797.8 billion that had been projected. Tax revenues came in at $647.7 billion, exceeding the target by $5.7 billion, while non-tax revenues totaled $156.1 billion, about $2 billion above program. For homeowners in the parishes of Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, St. James, and Hanover, the government has announced support for persons needing help with the cost of repairs on their roofs. We reached out to Curtis Hilton, architectural designer and builder, to learn more. We're here with Curtis Hilton, architectural designer and builder. And what we're here to talk about is how you can access government grants smartly. The Ministry of Labor and Social Security is allowing persons to go online and update a self-reporting tool to fast-track assessments of damage to your house from Hurricane Melissa. Now, the government notes that this is an initial record only and an assessor has to come by. So first of all, welcome, Mr. Hilton.
Thank you, Denise, and thanks for having me in the program.
Okay, great. Now, in reference to this opportunity to go online to Ministry of Labor's website, write what happened to you, but there needs to be a professional involved eventually.
Yes.
So in your estimation, Mr. Hilton, what are the 3 critical factors in a roof assessment?
Thanks. A very good question. There are a few factors in the assessment. One, there's a pre-assessment and a post-assessment. In the pre-assessment, you look at the damage to the structure, and then you take note of that in terms of what you can do to rectify that during the assessment. Then you look at the type of materials that you're going to use to rebuild, and you look at the costing for those materials and the labor to install those materials. So all of that is done in the pre-assessment of the damage that is done. In the post-assessment, you look at the structure that was rebuilt, if it's built to the municipal corporation specifications.
Right.
You look at the quality of the materials that was used or that was purchased, and you look at the quality of the installation of the roof.
Okay.
And so that's what covers in both assessment, pre and post assessments.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
So when we're talking about our roof, we're gonna we're gonna go online, do the assessment.
Yes.
But when the professional comes, now we're looking at a more structured damage assessment, materials needed,
Yes.
labor needed.
Yes.
And then after all of that is done, you assess
Right.
and look at the quality of the work.
Of the installation, right? Because you want to build back better.
Yes.
For long term.
Yes.
So you do have to say that everything is done according to specifications, so that if there's another disaster, then such structure can withstand that.
All right.
As best as possible.
For the trading period of February to 2026, the most actively traded securities were Kintyre Holdings Jamaica Limited with 6,471,702 units, representing 24.11% of market sales activities. Trans Jamaica Highway Limited with 4,949,227 units, representing 18.44% of market sales activities. Atlantic Hardware and Plumbing Company Limited with 2,457,042 units, representing 9.15% of market sales activities. Investor activity remained concentrated in transportation, energy, and financial plays, signaling continued interest in dividend-producing and strategic assets. Turning to the foreign exchange market based on Bank of Jamaica data for February 2, 2026, Forex traders recorded significant activity with strong demand across major currencies. The US dollar had trading margins reflected steady liquidity, with the US selling at $157.54 and buying at $155.88. For the Canadian dollar, moderate gain supported by $6.74 transaction spreads. The Canadian dollar sold for $117.50 and was bought for $110.76. For the British pound, continued volatility offered short-term trading opportunities of $1.18 in profits for the banks. The British pound sold for $214.77, was bought for $213.59. These movements underscore the importance of cash flow timing and currency awareness for businesses managing import costs, debt servicing, or overseas exposure. And that's today's business report. I'm Denise Williams, bringing clarity to capital markets and strategy. Until next time, stay informed, stay intentional, and keep building forward. See you soon.
In regional news, U.S. diplomatic pressure on Havana is now rippling across the Caribbean with potential consequences for healthcare access in St. Lucia. Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre says the rising geopolitical tensions are placing renewed strain on the island's medical training and staffing programs, which have long relied on Cuban scholarships and specialized health professionals.
The bilateral medical cooperation between St. Lucia and Cuba, which launched in 2001 and expanded in 2005 with the Operation Milagro Vision Restoration Program, is currently navigating a period of high geopolitical tension. Since the arrival of the first Cuban specialist under the Integrated Health Program in June 2006, the island has relied heavily on this partnership for both clinical personnel and medical education. However, St. Lucia now finds itself caught in the long-standing friction between Washington and Havana.
The American government has problems with Cuban doctors working in these islands. That is a fact. This means that the entire medical situation, exchange of doctors, students, is under threat. It's rumored that certain islands have already said they will not accept any doctors. St. Lucia has not said so. What St. Lucia has said is that there are problems, there are issues, and there are concerns that the American government has, which is open with the whole doctors, students working, doctors working from Cuba, working in St. Lucia, and our students studying. Basically, the whole issue of the Cuban embargo.
The diplomatic rift rooted in the 1959 revolution and the subsequent U.S. trade embargo has entered a more aggressive phase. Despite a brief thawing of relations between 2015 and 2017, the current stance from the U.S. government targets Cuba's international medical missions, a primary economic pillar for the Spanish-speaking nation. Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre indicates that St. Lucia is being proactively monitored as the U.S. continues to categorize these medical missions as a security and policy concern.
The American government does not want Cuban doctors to operate in the island. This is a fact. It is clear. This is American policy, as said by the Secretary of State. Last week, President Trump declared Cuba a threat to American security. So we just being proactive. The students, those are in Cuba, will continue to be in Cuba. They'll continue to be in Cuba.
So they'll continue their studies?
Yes, they will. They will continue there's no imminent withdrawal from students. No, they'll continue students, yeah. Life goes on, but under the circumstances, understanding that life will be what it is. You understand? Which is you in a state that America has said is a threat to its security.
The ripple effects are visible across the Caribbean. Antigua and Barbuda has recently recruited nursing cohorts from Ghana, while St. Kitts and Nevis has looked to Nigeria for healthcare personnel, while some regional officials downplay the link to U.S. policy. Prime Minister Pierre confirmed that St. Lucia is similarly diversifying its source markets for healthcare professionals and educational grants to safeguard the island against any eventual collapse of the Cuban program.
And that is why it was so short-sighted when a few people were so vehemently against us with the visit of the Nigerian president. You understand? The same people who are crying now, who are hypocritically pretending as if they care. When St. Lucia looked for other sources of support for Nigeria, they were the same people who were condemning and was spreading all kind of propaganda, etc. Right now, there are certain countries in the region who are now have nurses from Ghana. Right? So St. Lucia is going to be looking at exploring at all these possibilities. Nigeria, Ghana, Mexico, Brazil, all these countries, we're going to be approaching them, see how they can support us if push really comes to shove. But as we speak now, the issue is that we have to look and prepare for the eventuality.
As Washington intensifies its economic squeeze on Havana, small island developing states, SIDS, are left to navigate the collateral damage, scrambling to secure enough practitioners and training slots to maintain national health standards. Solange Alfred, HTS News Force.
Coastal wetlands like mangroves and seagrasses are being highlighted as critical weapons in the fight against climate change and coastal erosion. In Trinidad and Tobago, at the International Blue Carbon Conference, officials and scientists warned that while these ecosystems store carbon far more efficiently than forests, they remain severely underfunded.
Coastal wetlands, mangroves, seagrasses, tidal marshes, commonly known as blue carbon ecosystems, are among the planet's most powerful carbon sinks, storing carbon 10 times more efficiently than terrestrial forests. These healthy wetlands are not just an environmental asset, but are essential in economic and climate resilience, underpinning global livelihoods, protecting from storm surges and coastal erosion. British High Commissioner John Dean noted that since 2019, the severely underfunded Blue Carbon Initiative has prompted regional experts, communities and officials to expand the protection, restoration and sustainable management of blue carbon ecosystems across the region.
SDG 14 is one of the least funded of the UN SDGs, with the latest estimates suggesting we need around $150 billion more annually going towards this target to ensure we can protect ocean environments and support coastal communities globally.
Mr. Dean said the core reason ocean development is not getting the finance needed is the lack of reliable data available for the marine ecosystems.
Through monitoring, reporting and verification, or MRV systems, like the ones being developed through the Blue Carbon Fund by our partners at the University of West Indies, we will be able to do just that. We'll also be able to help countries in the Caribbean and Latin America to establish and meet the targets set out in their nationally determined contributions.
Professor at the University of the West Indies St. Augustine campus, Derek Chady, said that the implementation of the monitoring, reporting and verification mechanism has ensured credibility of blue carbon data in the global carbon credit markets and policy negotiations.
The teams have integrated terrestrial laser scanning TLS to map mangrove structure, capturing mangrove biomass with accuracy that traditional surveys cannot match.
The theme for the International Blue Carbon and Wetlands Conference 2026 was Anchored in Action, Standardizing and Advancing Blue Carbon Solutions.
In sports, we kick off with football. Jamaican footballer Dejan Whisper Richards is on loan from English Premier League club Chelsea to Championship side Leicester City. The move was confirmed by Richards' agent Craig Butler, who describes it as an important step in the young player's development. The 20-year-old has been on Chelsea's books since 2024, but has found first-team opportunities limited at the star-studded Premier League club. Butler, founder of the Phoenix Academy, says the loan move is designed to ensure Richards gets consistent playing time and the right environment to continue his development. And that's the news on PBCJ. Remember, we are the People's Station.